Hello and welcome to A Sustainable Life. My name's Abhigna Harvu and I'd like to talk to you today about vegan yogurt, or Dahi as we call it in India. Dahi is something that I used to have literally every single day after every single meal. It's something that kind of cooled down all the spicy food that I ate, and it was so hard for me when I turned vegan to find something that was similar. Because in the stores, you find vegan yogurts that are made out of coconut or some kind of like vanilla flavor or something like that, cashew based, but they were all in tiny little containers like this. And that's just not sufficient for me. I need like 8 cups just to get through the week. And that's why it was so tough for me to kind of transition in out of that. And now I have found the one recipe that I will continue to make. And it is so close to the yogurt that I know and love. It took me a really long time to come up with this recipe because, oh my gosh, I went through peanuts, I went through cashews, I went through soy, I went through coconut, and really just everything just tasted too much of that element. So I didn't want that. I wanted something more neutral. Even my husband, who is just vegetarian and he loves his dahi and he's very picky about his dahi, will actually eat it. So I think we've come a pretty long way, and it's almost as easy as making nut milk. Dahi was made with cow's milk. All you had to do was boil the milk, and then after it cooled down a little bit, add in the previous culture and then let it culture overnight. And then that was it. You have yogurt. So I kind of used the same methodology, except I had to make a different type of milk. Okay, so I have my rice going in here, my cashews, and my peanuts, along with 1.5 cups of water. Let's give that a little stir. Pop on the lid. So basically what we're doing is parboiling the rice and the nuts. Once it starts to boil, turn the heat down to low and let it cook for around 10 minutes with the lid on. So it's been about 10 minutes, and now we're going to kill the heat. I'll be using a colander over the sink to rinse this off in some cold water. Now that our rice and nuts have cooled down, we're going to blend them up with some more water. I have around 3 cups here of all of the rice and nuts, so I'm going to be adding around 2 cups to start off with of water, and then we blend. We're going to add another cup of water and blend again. Looks pretty smooth. Now we're going to take either a nut milk bag or the sieve and a cheesecloth to strain out this nut milk that we made. You can do what I do and use a nut milk bag, which I promise you it is so much easier with. I just ran it through again with 2 more cups of water just so that I can get the remaining bits out. And now I'm going to strain this again. Now that we made the milk, we're going to boil it. After squeezing, you should probably have around 7 cups of water if you measure it. I like to add 1 more cup of water just because I like the quantity of yogurt, and we're going to make it thick anyway with the agar-agar. So I'm going to pour all my milk. To thicken the yogurt, we're going to be using this powdered form of agar-agar. We really only need 1/4 of a teaspoon of it. So I'm just gonna let it come to a boil. You definitely wanna keep an eye on it. It takes around 10 minutes or so on a medium flame, but don't let it burn. I like to scrape this down every once in a while because at the bottom there might be a little bit of sticking. You may use a lid, but just be careful. Just keep watching it. Now it's coming to a boil, so I'm going to turn off the heat. Let it cool down to around 115 degrees Fahrenheit. So the main reason that we even have yogurt in the first place is to get some good probiotics, right? We all know that they're really good for your gut. So in order to actually get the probiotics into this yogurt, we can do a couple of different things. One way is to use a previous culture. So you can get an unsweetened vegan yogurt from the store and use the culture as a starter for this yogurt. You can also use a probiotic capsule, and once I open this up, it actually comes out in powdered form. You just sprinkle it over the top. And this surprise ingredient, if you use the tops of green chilies, this is actually how a lot of the yogurt was started back in the old days. I wasn't there to witness them, but I do know that this is something that was traditionally used to culture yogurt. Once the milk has cooled down, you want to transfer it to a glass bowl like this that has a lid and put in your probiotic of choice. It should already be quite thick because it's cooled down, and the agar-agar will make it thicker as it cools. I'm going to add my green chili tops. Spread them over the top like this. Now that it's been set up for around 12 hours, you can taste it to see if you like the tanginess. Otherwise, you can leave it for another couple of hours just to let it get a little bit more cultured and more tangy. But as you can see, it's pretty thick right now. It's kind of jiggly, and that's because of the agar-agar. And now it's pretty much completely set up, so you can actually keep this in the fridge for up to 2 weeks and you can enjoy it. The most wonderful thing about making yogurt at home is that it's just naturally zero waste friendly, and it is so much cheaper. So I know what's in the ingredients, and there's no added sugars, there's no nonsense. It's really just what I put into it, and it's so satisfying. You're gonna love it.